Hi, how are you, handsome?
Thank you.
You doing all right?
Bruh, this new technology, bro, I'm just,
It's a lot.
I'm trying. No, I'm trying.
Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot. How's everything going, sir?
Everything's good. Everything's
Yeah.
real good. How are you?
I'm just navigating this, really trying to choose faith over fear like every
Mm,
single day.
word.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, what about you? Like, how are you navigating this? Because this is so new for everybody. So everybody's
Um,
experiencing something different.
to be honest, it's kind of, uh, it's a real, like, learning curve for me.
Yeah.
I'm so
Hmm.
used to being busy. I'm so used to working. I'm so used to being out. I'm so used to doing stuff. And what this time kind of like brought to my attention is like, you know, dang, you ain't really much if you ain't working, huh?
Right.
So, I mean, I've done stuff on the side, um, but if I'm not in the studio, if I'm not on stage, if I'm not in somebody's face talking about music, talking about love, singing, or just helping other people, So what this
Yeah.
time has done for me is put me in a place where I gotta sit down somewhere and,
Hmm.
and know where to go.
Mm-mm.
I'm saying like there's nothing to do,
Mm-mm.
um, and really deal with myself. Uh,
Yeah.
we talking about as of right now, 20 years straight, no vacations, um, going through a whole bunch of different transitions in my life, like way too many to mention,
Yeah.
uh, from personal to professional,
Yeah.
which is where a lot of the music comes from. I just, you know, I sort of like crafted in the context of relationships, but
Yeah.
all the emotions are still the same. Whether you're dealing with romantic relationships,
Hmm.
um, family uh, relationships, and just people that you meet and run across and kind of bring into your life and get brought into their lives.
Yeah.
Uh, you just learned a lot about people. You learned a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
But I had a whole lot of that on autopilot because I didn't have time. I didn't have time to like sit and think and wonder like how's this person like look, I gotta go. I gotta work
Hmm.
here, I gotta be there, I gotta be this thing to the world. I don't have time to have a moment.
Yeah. But we have several moments now. So, what have you discovered about yourself and your stillness?
I care way too much about people
Mm.
and I don't have enough people in my immediate personal life that care for me in the capacity that I need. And it's not their fault because I've always played this I'm I thing. So people was like, okay, well, I mean, but we're here. It's like, yeah, I know, but I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've always kind of like unintentionally shooed them away.
Yeah.
And they're like a lot. And now when I think about it, I know a lot of people is like, well, dang, if you don't need me, then it's like, because some people, they don't know how to function in another person's life if they don't feel like they have a purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to doing everything myself, you know, that it does. It takes a particular type of person to stick around. Like, okay, well, I'm here if you need me,
Yeah.
because they really genuinely want to be there. But then they have the other stuff that they don't have time to be sitting around waiting if you're gonna call them or whatever. So then some people just, yeah, just kind of like,
Yeah. Let them go.
and
So,
it's no love lost. But then there are some that it was kind of toxic and hostile, and you kind of got to make a call on that.
right. So,
Um,
so that this is a time for, I think, for all of us, if we really allow ourselves to reflect, we can come out of this better on the other side. And I've been doing a couple of these interviews, and my question is, how do you want to re-enter? How do you want to re-enter
mm.
when all of this is over?
I want to re-enter because I was talking to a couple people, my small circle of people, which is good because I keep that small because they've been there long enough. So
Mm-hmm.
like talk to them about stuff, I know it's coming from a real place. There's no agenda. It's a different world when you're a thing
Yeah.
to the world. It's very challenging to attach yourself emotionally to anybody because you don't know why they're there. You know,
Mm.
when stuff ain't all the way right, you know, that's when you really see, you know, who's who.
Yeah.
And the people that are there now are the people that's going to be there regardless, you know,
Yeah.
whether I'm popping and everything's, you know, I'm all over the place, or whether people are like, who's that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's not why they're in my life.
Yeah.
So we've been talking a lot, you know, recently, and it came to the point where I had to realize, like, fam, you needed this moment. You needed this moment to really look at yourself, look at your life, reassess, restart, because I've been living my life too much for other people. You know
Man.
what I'm saying? Like since 2000, I've been hitting the ground running. Like you seen me. Like all I
Yes.
do is work. You know?
Right.
So now I'm looking at this moment, like, you know, and, you know, don't get me wrong, I've been present in my own way, but it's been on a clock, you know, because then that other thing kicks in. It's like, okay, time to get back up. Okay, time to make the donuts. Okay, time to go, you know, do the dance and sing the song, you know. So lately,
Yeah.
been like, bro, you need to chill because
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a lot of answers to a lot of the questions that you have for yourself that nobody else can answer but you.
Right.
I've been having good and so-called good and not so good relationships because I'm constantly running into these situations with people, not realizing that I'm looking to fulfill something that only I can, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's the key to like toxic relationships, because you're not dealing with your own crap. So you're just bringing it into another relationship. You
Mm-hmm.
get mad at the other person because you don't feel like they're doing what you need. It's like, but they can only do but so much if you got all this traffic in the way.
Yeah.
You know, they can't get to you. You know, you got all these defense mechanisms and you got all these walls and you all detached and you like, bruh, social distancing. I've been social distancing. I'm super anti. Like people don't understand. Like that's why you never see me, because I don't really do well with engaging with people on a deep level because I'm extremely sensitive in that way. That's where all
Yeah.
this stuff comes from. We creative people,
Yes.
our emotional relationship is just different than a not so active creative person. So um, I've been realizing that I need to, you know, and mostly for you guys, like I want to make sure that I'm creating, like for instance, like I ain't going front. I ain't been inspired at all. Like it got to
Mm-hmm.
the point where I don't want to do this no more. It's no longer fun. You know, it's become such a chore. You know, it's like I have to stay on top and I have to, well, make sure you don't fall off. And then
Yeah.
social media is a whole nother thing. It's like I don't know what the rules are. You know, you can just speak your mind and people get offended. Like, fam, I wasn't talking to you. Like, what you mad
Right.
for?
What you mad at?
What you mad for? What, you gotta
Yeah.
watch the way that you say stuff. I, you know how long I've been on this planet, bro?
Yeah.
You need to watch how you hear. You need to pay attention. Oh, you wasn't really paying attention. So you took a L that wasn't really yours because you involved
Mm-hmm.
yourself into something that you didn't really understand what was going on because you was half listening because you constantly distracted because you don't really care that much. But you
Yes.
care because you want to say that you were there. That's not, dude, we're not going to get nowhere like that. I'm not going
Yeah.
to give you what you need. I'm not going to get what I need out of you. This right here is dumb. So I want to re-enter a little more present. I want to re-enter a little more clear on, no one is really going to know everything, but a little more clear on what it is, why it is that I'm doing. For instance, I just dropped a mixtape called
Mm-hmm.
Dilla Project. And what that project is first and foremost, shout out to Dilla. If nobody out there who knows what Dilla is, who Dilla is. Dilla is a legendary hip hop producer from Detroit, one third of Slum Village, and I just do your research, Jacob.
Yes.
I talk about Dilla so much, but I wanted to do something with his music for such a long time because his music changed my life. His perspective on music really inspired me in ways I didn't think was possible.
In what way? In what way?
Well, because, so for instance, contrary to what a lot of people like to call me, they like to call me R&B. That's fine. That's fine. However, if you want to really get more out of what it is that I'm doing, it would be better for you if you consume it in a more accurate context, which is hip hop soul.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop soul. The very first song you heard from me, I start the song off beatboxing, like, like, let's just be realistic and call it what it is. Now, I do have some. I'm R&B adjacent, I like to say. You know, I have songs that kind of fit in that category, so I give you that. You know, but you know, there's a whole reason behind that we're not going to get into. People promote what they want to promote because when you're an artist on a label and blah blah blah. But
all that,
yeah, we're not going to get to that. But I've always been hip hop soul because, you know, growing up in hip hop generation, growing up listening to soul music, trying to find your identity through music and through creativity, that most resonated with me, you know, that aesthetic, musical aesthetic. So that's why I have like a rappy cadence sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's where that comes from.
Right.
So Dilla and what he was doing, you know, with Slum Village and even just on his own, like the music that he was making, like that, he tapped into a wave that I really identified with, you know. Even before his passing, we talked about working together and all of that. And I'm really cool with his mom now. So we talked about a lot of things. And when I had to think, like, dude, I got to hit the restart button. But how do I restart? Well, you got to go back to basics. Anybody will tell you that. Anytime you want to reboot, you're like, you got to, you know, you got to do a full system reboot. You got to go back to the beginning, you know. And I feel like his music, and there's other producers, other musicians, other creative people out there, but that's the one that really resonated with me personally, represented what I feel like the Musiq Soulchild sound could be, at least one element, mostly the pop element.
Right.
So now I was like, okay, well then how I'm going to make this make sense? How I'm going to translate to people what it is that I'm trying to get across, other than trying to keep up with this persona that I've been made into for the last.
Yeah.
Again, we're fine, but I'm not Mickey Mouse, bro. Like, I, you know, it's been 20 years. Like, look at yourself and think about how far you've come within 20 years. And then ask yourself, would you allow anybody to force you to be how you
been? No,
you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I do.
So now I want to re-enter more accurate, more authentic, more realistic, you know, as opposed to chasing, you know, these 5 to 10 songs that people identify me as, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love those songs. You know how many songs that I have that you haven't heard?
Right.
That you haven't heard, bro. But I can't do it because, I want them same songs.
But what I'm saying is, like, when can you not care, though? When can you not care about?
You ever not care? And I think I understand, Wayne, what you're asking. You don't ever not care. You just do a better job at managing patients, I think. But where that comes from is that you got to really get to know you. You got to lock in with you. And who you are can't be so predicated off of other people's perspectives, other people's ideas, other people's opinions, you know. And going back to my previous point, I realized that I care too much. You know, about stuff that really mine. It don't really belong to me. You know, I just,
it's you know, I really love the vulnerability and how authentic you are. But I think about your gifts. They're just incredible. They're like that. You can't even really put it into words how gifted you are. I mean, it's been 20 years since I Just Want to Sing, and because you came into this so pure, and everything that you've experienced throughout the music industry, it's such a gift and a curse, the music industry. But how does it feel to know that your gift that God has truly given, universe, source energy has given you, also is a source of your pain?
Is it? And that's
that's the thing. That's it.
Oh,
we weren't supposed to go here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's real, but that's essentially what I've been talking about. me trying to unpack all of that, you know, and now finally having the time to do that, you know. So I don't have all the answers. You know, a lot of people look at us, you know, us curators of their entertainment, you know, in whatever capacity, as having it all figured out. A lot of us don't know what we're doing, bro. We have no idea what we're doing. And a lot of the times, you know, so we convince ourselves. That's why we need to posture like, you know, we this, that, you know, because we need to convince ourselves, like we got to be our own hype man, our
Yeah.
own hype person. We got to, because if we not confident in what we're doing, how do we expect y'all? Because y'all smell blood, bro. Y'all boo, boo, get boo. You know, so we gotta build that skin. You know, so
And then
we.
it almost feels weird that I ask you about not only the Whip for Dealer project, but the other projects you have going on. Like it feels weird because you're in such a space where it's so self-reflective and introspective, and it feels crazy because I know this relationship you have with music.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your new projects. How has it been therapeutic? And
It's been therapeutic
okay, good.
because I can't do it unless I mean it.
Got
Meaning,
it.
I can't do it for money. I can't do it because I want you to like it. I can't do it because I want it to chart and be popular. I can't do it for those reasons. It will not come out. It just won't. I can't tell you how many hours I spend in front of a computer trying to force something. And then when I force something, I listen to it and I be like, I'm not putting that out, bro. That's trash,
Right.
trash, you know? And this is coming from a person who you got to be your own. You got to be your own champion. You got to be your own wing person. You got to be your own support system. But when you looking and listening to your stuff and you like, yeah, nah, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. You know, like this, ain't nobody hating, you know, nobody around, you know, doubting you. It's all you. So now you got to lock into what is that? Like, where did it come from? Like, when did you stop believing in yourself? Like, stop thinking what you did, what you're doing is though, and everything, you know, even if in this baby stage is like, it's going to eventually, but when you going to cut it at the knees at the beginning, because, now we got to talk about it. You just incurred a whole bunch of fear that ain't yours.
It's not
Now
yours.
it's infecting everything, and you got to figure it out because can nobody else clean it up, because can nobody else get to it but you can't keep pushing it to the side and hiding behind, you know, the looks and likes. Like, it's not going to work, fam. Like, you got to really do the freaking work.
Yeah.
You know, so it surprisingly has a lot to do with things that has nothing to do with music.
Yes. It goes back to that.
Because it's all a part of who you are. But the better you are, the better what you attach yourself to will be. So if you're not all the way right within, then whatever you produce is, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like nothing you do is going to be right until you do right
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yes. But I'm prayerful that you will,
I
because
mean, I'm definitely knocking down a lot of things. I'm having
okay, good.
with people. I'm coming to terms with, you know, with my people, my circle of people that I really have a lot of respect for their perspective, even if it doesn't really, you know, agree. We don't really agree all the time, but you know, but it's not to the point where we don't listen to each other, you know. And I try to be as transparent and candid as possible, because a person can't help you if you don't really, you know, open up to them, because they don't know what the problem is. So I want to be as authentic and as genuine. That's what I'm looking for. I want to be as genuine as I can be, but I have to lock in with whatever my issues are. And I've done that already. You know, I've entertained, you know, this concept of presenting myself or representing myself, excuse me, and the different monikers and as, you know, different personas or whatever. And that was cool because it was an outlet. But an outlet after a while becomes an escape, because you're not really dealing with what you needed the outlet for.
The root.
Once you release, okay, now go back home and clean up the crib, you know? So I'm like, no, it's cool. I'll just stay over here. Like, so you're going to put a mortgage down on 3 cribs just so that you can feel like you're doing something when all you do is fix the one make that better. You know what I'm saying? That way you can get your feet under you and you can have a stronger foundation, so it won't pull at you so much when you try to do other things. And then people will understand it more because you will have the time and the wherewithal to articulate and communicate it more effectively because you will have all the answers, as
Right.
opposed to, man, it's just a vibe. Okay. I don't understand what that is. Like, I'm gonna
Right.
need you to explain it. I mean, you get it? No, I don't. Well, you've been here, so I don't supposed to do nothing. Like, I like what you did. I don't know this, so
Right.
I have to like work through all of that and find out what that really means. So when I'm talking to y'all, I can know what I'm talking about rather than I'm just going through something and I just need a minute. But I don't want to look like I'm struggling because y'all gonna drag me and talk crap. And I don't
Well,
want that type of negativity right now.
right. But what I'm telling you is because I've been able to be, I've been in your energy. I felt your energy. Musiq, you are enough, and I need you to believe that you are enough. And this is not coming from. I didn't know this conversation was even going to go like this, but you got to believe that you're enough. All these people that have been commenting, talking about how you saved their lives with your music, and I know you have to put a lot of weight on that, but you got to believe that you are enough, and your gifts will continue to feed into you, and it's going to be enough for the people. Like, we're good. We just need you to be you. Period.
Thank you. And I know that. And because I've like through the years I've had, because like people like to pull me to the side and ask me a bunch of questions about a lot of stuff. Like I really have all the answers and I really don't. But I do like to talk it out though. Like,
Yes.
I like doing that, especially when it comes to things that I'm like naturally, sort of like,
Align with, attracted
yeah,
to. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is the concepts of in the spaces of love and relationships and, engaging with people and on different levels and understanding and communication. Like, I like stuff. I'm a songwriter, for crying out loud. So this is the stuff that I get my material from. But I wanted to I've always, if you check all of my interviews, whenever anyone ever asks me about, what's my inspiration, it always comes from a space where I always want to present a realistic context, because I feel like it's not fair when we talk about all the fantastic parts of,
Mm-hmm.
relationship spaces, or even like, when it goes bad. Like, what about all the gray area? Like, no one really gets into all the gray area. It's not always just black and white. It's not always like, I don't like you no more, so it's
Right.
rap. It's like, no, I don't like you right now.
Yeah.
Don't go nowhere. We got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone today. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you put that in the song? So that's how you get songs like Teach Me, and that's how you get songs like Don't Change. That's how you get these songs, because these are the different, levels and the different layers and the ebb and flow and the peaks and valleys, or however you want to call it, of trying to get to know a person, trying to create space in your life for that person, trying to find space in their lives for you without taking too much, without getting too much taken out of you. Like, finding that balance. Everybody don't always know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you kind of got to like charge it to their mind. Like, they're not aware that maybe later, or if you would have just brought it up, as opposed to thinking, man, they know what they're doing. No, they could clearly not know what they're doing right now, but they think that what they're doing is loving you.
Mm.
But the same thing happens with you. You think that what you're doing is loving you until you realize, no, bro, you ain't been loving yourself since 2000. You've been on
Yeah.
autopilot. You've been riding off of people showing you and adoring you and being enamored by you. You've been riding off of that. But then when you go home,
What's that self-love like?
Nah, exactly.
Yeah. That part.
So I always had the privilege of being busy, where I never really had to deal with that.
Well, you got to do it now.
Yeah.
Now is the
So
time. Now is the time. And I'm glad that you were open to say the things that you have said, because it's a lot of people dealing. I talked to my therapist just yesterday. I'm dealing with a lot, whole lot.
Yeah.
Sister
Yeah.
Circle is over. Praying for my boy Ryan Cameron. God
Yeah.
allowed me to be in this,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, in this space. to fill in for the man who gave me my start.
Right.
Imagine those emotions.
Right.
So I feel
Exactly.
it. We're all
And
dealing. So you're not in this
everybody,
alone.
yeah, and everyone has their own, you know, bag of crap. You know, their own fresh pile, bro. That, they see it. They see it. But you wake up and you're like, I don't feel like unpacking today. I'm
Right.
gonna go take me a nap, or I'm gonna go play some video games, or I'm gonna go
Right.
have me a mini concert, or I'm gonna binge watch whatever I need, anything but deal. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Yeah.
I know how important it is to do that work. If I'm gonna be better, to produce better for y'all without it necessarily being motivated by you guys' approval necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I don't care, but I have to get to a space where that doesn't matter.
Got it.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
absolutely.
I want you to care. I want you to like it. Yeah, yeah, don't get me wrong,
But I
because
don't want that
I'm
to
doing it for
predicate
you.
your happiness, though. That's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like, not to the point where it's impeding on my ability to, feel good about myself.
Yes.
You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
you've done incredible work, and I know you hear from so many people, but I just need you in this time to believe it. Like, really believe what you've done and what an incredible work you've done.
Thank you.
And we just love you. I mean, the sentiments on this live have just been just
Right. I'm sorry I haven't been
overwhelming.
able to, like,
I know I've been looking as I'm talking.
I
I've been
can't
looking like
multitask
it's just.
like
I
that
know it's
on this
fine, but
thing. Yeah.
they've been saying just incredible things, and I just want you to take that in if you
Right.
can, not as
I do.
validation, but just as
No, I appreciate the energy. They don't have to say the stuff that they saying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Hey,
you
regardless
know what I'm
though,
saying? But I know that, because that's not my responsibility. But I do feel like in some way it is, if you're giving me love, if you're showing me attention. Like, I got to make sure that I don't waste that, because I just want to be fly today.
right?
Look at me.
Yeah. Yeah, but you've always
So
to me you've always done things with integrity, and I
yeah,
don't think that
I
you would
got,
do anything.
I got a bunch of stuff cooking.
Good.
And hopefully, really, really soon, I'll get back in the mode. Like, I can't force it. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
come when it does, and it's coming. I'm doing interviews now. Like, before, I wasn't
Good.
trying to talk to nobody, because leave me alone. But
I love you.
I
I
don't.
love you.
And but this is me. This conversation is a reflection of the work that I've been doing. That's why I can talk about it, because
Yeah.
this is what I've discovered. I'm so closely related to it that it's right there. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta dig for it. Like, no, it's right there. Like, I'm literally in the middle of it right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. As are so many people. So I just want to say appreciate your vulnerability, your willingness to be open.
thank you.
You've saved so many lives today. You
No
never
problem.
know how people are watching you, so that then
Mm,
your testimony can help someone else. So we appreciate you. I always got love for you since the first time I met you.
yeah,
We've always had a great rapport, and I'm happy to be on this live with you today.
no doubt. I appreciate you thinking of me and wanting to share this moment with me. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Musiq Soulchild. I'm gonna say Musiq Soulchild to the end because that's what your Instagram says. How can they find new
Ah.
music? I know, right? Tell them how they can find new music because you got some things out.
So really quick, so I talked about it a little bit earlier. The Do It for Dilla project. Do it. I took his middle name, which is Do It, but I kind of did like a wordplay. Do It,
You always do
DEWIT.
wordplay.
Yeah,
Yes. Right.
what I do. Do It, the number 4, and Dilla, DILLA. Do It for
Okay.
Dilla. You can find it on Instagram. You can just
Okay.
follow Do It for Dilla on Instagram, and tap the link in the bio to take it to Bandcamp. It's a free download. 5 songs that I did where I took Dilla's beats and I did remakes of Donny Hathaway, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, and Prince. And that's
Awesome.
the first, and that's just the first, that's the first batch. And then later on, I'm going to do the next batch. It's a series that I'm trying to do because it's
Okay.
almost like my own personal version of getting back to the basics, because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
go to school for music. This is how I learned from these people. So I was kind of lost. So I need to find my way back. And the thing that makes sense to me is go back to where it all started for you. So this is what, it all started. This is where it all started for me.
Awesome.
So that's his own thing.
Yes.
Then I'm also working on a project Right now I'm just calling it the 2020 project, but I got to come up with a name for it, where I'm doing remakes of my own songs from my first 3 albums.
Oh, wow.
I'm picking, I might not do singles because, you know, I don't want to mess with people's memories because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
do singles. But then you got other people that be like, man, how you gonna do this project and don't do blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I'm trying to find a happy medium, happy
Yeah.
balance. I don't know what that is quite yet, but I'm going to pick 20 songs from the first 3 projects, and I'm just going to remake them in the vibe that, like, I like how you put it, was so ill, how I want to re-enter. That's
Mm-hmm.
so, this is the kind of vibe that I want to re-enter with, you know, because I need for people to understand what a Musiq Soulchild is. You
Right.
know, I've been sort of trying to live up to what people were telling me what Musiq Soulchild is, but that kind of ran its course. Like, it ran out of,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I need,
You redefine it the way it
you know
makes
what I'm saying?
you feel good. That's how
Exactly.
you do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Also working on a group project with
Yeah.
a couple of my homies called Lumi Trice. We're called Lumi
Okay.
Trice. It's again, it's hip hop soul, but it's a real vibe. It's a whole mood. Like, you just got to check it out. So Lumi Trice, LUMITRICE. You can check that out on Instagram as well. We just released a song and a video called PDA
Mm-hmm.
/ San Diego. It's really cool. Shouts out to Dave Luke. Shouts out to Alex. Shouts out to India Shawn. She's on that song as well. I'm also working on a project with Drummer Boy that I've been
Oh.
trying to get out for years now, because
Mm-hmm.
so he's doing all the music and I'm doing all the writing, and it's a whole nother space. It's
Yeah.
Musiq Soulchild, but it's like kind of reaching out a little bit, you know, and trying to see what
Yeah.
else is out there, man.
It's a lot.
It's so much. It's so much.
Yes.
It's so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we thank you so much. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the work that you're doing, the self work that you're doing, and
Thank you.
you know, continued success on everything. And you know, I'm gonna be here to bring out the best in you whenever you want to be interviewed again. To make it
Yeah.
happen. But you know, it's nothing but love, and I'm
No,
happy to
definitely.
have shared the space with you today.
No, for sure. Same here. I
All right.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right, you too.
All right. Bye bye.
All right, bye.